if they are really entrepreneurial, they don't stay in the office and do Excel sheet after Excel sheet and plan. They go out there and they do. There is a propensity to doing. They execute. Entrepreneurship is a lot about execution also.
Getting things done.
But when you start doing, you also very often realize that what you thought was a good idea does not work.
Correct. So number one is learning.
Yeah.
Learn. All right, hi everyone, welcome on board. मुझे business करना है, entrepreneurship करना है, startup करना है, तो मुझे कुछ tips चाहिए. I've got Mr. Mikkel with me. Hi, Professor Mikkel, welcome on board.
Thank you for having me.
Mikkel is a professor of entrepreneurship. Sir, how many years you have been teaching entrepreneurship for?
Oh, 24 years now.
This is so amazing. Have you seen some successful entrepreneurs in your life whom you've been teaching, and you met some great people?
Yes, we have had very successful entrepreneurs coming out of our entrepreneurship focus seminars in Bocconi. We have had a couple of IPOs, one on Nasdaq, one in Italy. So yeah, keep in mind though that structurally a lot of startups fail.
Yeah.
So we have a very big, even though you fell in love with your idea.
Yeah.
There is no guarantee that you will be that you will be successful. So
great, but don't get demotivated by this statement what Mikkel is saying, because he's a professor. He likes to teach it raw. So, so Mikkel, what are the 3 things an entrepreneur should do? This lesson. So, so what are the 3 lessons? Yeah. Wow. How do successful people make it? You've studied so many. Right now, by the way, he's teaching at SDA Bocconi. I caught him today, and I said, "Hey, you speak good. Come and sit with me. Let's teach our students." They're all 20, 21-year-old, inspired by Shark Tanks of the world.
Yeah.
What's your take on that, please?
So it's difficult because you mentioned it yourself. I'm a professor, and my class on entrepreneurship is very long. So I've written books on entrepreneurship. So it's very difficult to ask a professor, give me only 3 things. what is important? But I'll have a stab at it. So first thing, I think you have to be able to learn. Learning capability, agility in the way you do things, and kind of so learning is key. Startup entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs in general, they set out with a big vision or with passion. They think they have, and very often they have, a good idea.
Yeah.
But if they are really entrepreneurial, they don't stay in the office and do Excel sheet after Excel sheet and plan. They go out there and they do. There is a propensity to doing. They execute. Entrepreneurship is a lot about execution also.
Getting things done.
But when you start doing, you also very often realize that what you thought was a good idea does not work.
Correct. So number one is learning.
Yeah. There are kind of things that you need to be honest, and you need to adapt your value proposition, your marketing strategy with what you learn from doing.
Superb. Yeah.
So learning, capability and humility in what you do, openness to the data that you collect when you try to do stuff, I think is number one. Learning.
Great, that's lovely. I think that's the reason why my ex-company, I used to work for GE, General Electric, way back in Boston. They made bulbs, you know, and now we make rocket engines. So, and from bulbs to rocket engines to solar panels to GE water, chemicals, everywhere is GE's. And I think that every CEO who came in, whether it was Jeff Immelt or John Flannery, the last CEO, they were always big on learning and said, hey, we have done this in the past, but now we're going to do things differently. Number one. Number 2, what's number 2, Mikkel?
Number 2 is creative problem solving. There will be so many situations where, because you don't have experience with what you are doing, because you have never done it before.
Yeah.
This is actually a big difference between GE and any startups. GE has 80 years of experience doing light bulbs.
Yeah.
They pretty much know what they're doing.
Right.
They know what the production costs.
Right.
Startups, I know it sounds harsh,
yeah,
but they don't know what they're doing.
when you're saying this, I can relate to myself and my own company.
That's why the learning is important. You have to learn fast and you have to learn cheap. But the other thing is that when you get stuck, when you can't get your client acquisition cost down fast enough, when you don't have enough viewers or clients, your product is not really cracking it, then sometimes you have to be able to think outside the box. You have to come up with solutions that are not that conventional. Now, can you learn how to be creative? It's a little bit difficult. There are some tools, but probably the creative problem solving, which also requires a kind of a positive mindset, an optimistic mindset, probably is my number 2 on the list.
I think all of us who've done startups, they will be able to relate. My enthusiastic level from 100 has come to 20 because I was able to think everything we're already talking about. Yeah, but again, quickly, how to solve this? Like, I have 5 problems thrown to me every day in the morning in which I don't have an answer to. So yes, I need to be innate entrepreneur in my head or a born entrepreneur. I'm able to solve 3, but the 2 I just passed the decision to my subordinates and said, whatever you think, do it. I know it's wrong.
No, I actually don't think that is wrong, because I think you actually highlight, and probably it would have been, or it is my number 3, because I think you would experiment. You don't know, because you cannot know. This is the problem. You're operating in a space where you don't have previous experience. And actually, maybe nobody has experience with doing what you're doing. So you can't even do benchmark or competitive intelligence. Maybe you can seek inspiration for another startup that does something similar, but it might not work in your specific context. So but you have to have the ability to come up with a solution. You don't know whether it will work.
Yes.
But this is where, to answer your question, you have to try. And then you have to measure very, very quickly whether it will work, because we cannot allow ourselves very long and expensive experiments in our kind of agile development process.
Got it. Great. What's number 3? The number 3.
Number 3 for me is courage, perseverance, decision making. You have to be willing to try stuff even though you're a little bit uncertain. And the psychological background for this maybe is self-confidence. If you're very uncertain on yourself, you're never going to make fast decisions. So,
but we are not. What to do? You're starting up. You're 21. You're not confident. The kids who are doing debating in the schools, etc.
Really good. So what? There is no quick fix to this. If you don't have the confidence, if you have to think about for 1 month every single time you try something new, if you want to plan it, double check it, you're not going to be a successful entrepreneur, because you probably need 3 or 4 attempts to get it right. And if every single new thing you do takes you 6 months to get done, you're going to run out of time and money in order to do so. So the trick is, if you're not born with a lot of self-confidence, then the least you can do is build a team that can support you and give you courage to do it, because it's actually easier to fail together than fail alone.
That's cool.
And failure tolerance or failure in general is linked to what I said is number 1. You learn from failure.
That's true.
And if as an individual, you don't have the courage, the psychological stamina to make a decision, fail and learn alone. Create a team that you can trust.
True.
Create a culture around in the startup team where failure is not taboo. Where it's actually okay to try something new and do it. Why do incubators Why do they have fuck up Wednesdays?
Yeah. Do they have?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Incubators have fuck up Wednesdays.
Oh, is it?
Every single Wednesday, if you're a normal incubator, you invite one of your startups to say, where did you screw up last week?
Okay.
Now, there is a little bit of practical purpose of this because you can learn from other people's mistakes. But the main reason is that you want to install a culture where it's okay to fail. Because if you have higher levels of failure tolerance, it's easier for you to make the decision and try. You get the learning cycles done faster.
Super. In fact, I was reading it somewhere. The failed startup CEOs are more in demand than the guys who are sailing the ship on the right track for a couple of years. This is so amazing, boys and girls. So fail faster, keep learning, have the courage. That's an entrepreneurship mantra by a professor from SDA Bocconi with us. Thank you so much, Mikkel. It was lovely having you on board. Do it in the like button and tell me if you got a startup idea or are you working on something, or if you have any questions regarding entrepreneurship or MBA, I'll be more than happy to answer your question. See you in the comments. Thank you so much for joining in, boys and girls. Take care. Bye-bye.